Lesson 7 in access creating other objects. We're going to go through using the simple query wizard, create a query, create a quick form, enter the records using the form, create and modify a quick report, and then preview and print a report. So a lot of stuff to cover, but we should be able to get through it pretty quick. Alright, so we're on lesson 7, a little content. Okay, first thing we want to do, we want to create a simple query, and we're going to base this off of the members table. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. Okay, on our members table we have ID, first, last, address, all these fields across. But when we create a query, what it does, it pulls out only those certain fields, certain columns that you want, and then it returns those as a result. So we can close our members table, so close that. Alright, we're going to go create. We're going to go through, we're going to use a query wizard. It's going to be a simple wizard. Hit OK. We're going to use our members table, and then from this we want our first name. You can just double click first name, last name, phone. So double click the fields that you want. So those are only 3 that we want to use. Now if you wanted to add everything at one time, hit the double arrow. It would add everything. You want to remove individual things, you could do them that way. Remove everything, hit the double left arrow. Alright, so I was just showing you that real quick. We'll get back. We have those 3. Hit next. Okay, what do you want to call your query? We're going to call this phone listing. So we'll just type that in real quick here. And then phone listing, hit finish. And then you'll notice now we have a new object. Okay, we have tables. That's our first object we've been working on. Now we have queries. Okay, on phone listing, again, this is based off the members table I showed you with all the different columns, different fields. Okay, so, but we just picked what we want to display here, and then you could print this out however you want to use that. Alright, so with this, we're going to close this. So right click, close the tab. Alright, you want to select the classes table. Okay, you've got to pay attention to this. Got to pay attention. When it says select in the book, it means click one time. Do not open it, because if you open it, then it's not going to work exactly right all the time. So you want to select the classes table, go to create, and then forms. And then on this one we're just going to do a quick form. So whichever table it's based on, it's going to create a form. So create form, and then you have this. Alright, and then this brings us to form view. Okay, you want to right click classes, go save, and we'll just call this classes form. So it's already called classes, so we just add the word form to the end, hit OK. Now we have classes form object here. Alright, we're going to close this. So basically we'll work through a form here in a minute, but we're just going through creating different different forms. Alright, you want to select the members table, members select, click one time, go to create forms. So create forms, more forms, and we want multiple item form. Alright, and this looks a whole lot different than the last one, but as we go through here, we're just going to save this real quick. Members, put form at the end, hit enter, and then we're going to close this. Alright, the next form that we're going to work on is classes, which we've created. So double click classes form. Alright, entering records in a form is a little different than a table just because it's laid out different. Okay, a form basically is how you would see it if you think of when you create new accounts, email accounts or something on Yahoo, Hotmail, Gmail, whatever, on the internet, or entering in whatever new account. How they have all the different lines and you type in as you go. Basically you're using a form. It doesn't say form on it, but it's a form, and then the way it's stored back at the company, you know, it's going to look more like a database. But the form is what the customer or user will see, because it's much simpler, much cleaner to get everything entered in. Alright, so first thing, we want to enter a new record. So you gotta come down to the bottom of the screen. You have this last button here, has a little starburst by it. It's real faint, kind of hard to see. It says new blank record. Click on this, and then to do a new record, again, new, remember that means auto number, so just tab. class, we're gonna do intro to Pilates. Alright, so we've got that. And we're gonna say it's beginner level. We'll just shorten it from what the book says to do here. Okay, sessions, 8 sessions. Price is $120. That's a lot. Alright, so we've got that. Okay, you want to go back to your first record. Alright, you see it's on 7 to 7, and it's a current record, so there's 7 records. First record, you have this. You have previous record, next record, last record. So that's how that works. Alright, so now that you've entered this into your classes here, if you close everything, go back to your classes table, intro to Pilates, beginner level, 8 for 120. You can see that's added to the table. Alright, now creating a report. You want to select the members table, go to create. We're just going to do a simple report, I believe. Yes, so go create report. So create report, select members table. Alright, and this is basically how the database would look printed out. The report's basically a printout that you would have. You usually wouldn't print out the tables or the forms or anything like that, but the report's what you would use to print everything out. Alright, so we're just going to right click, save, members. We're just going to put report at the end, hit OK, and it gives us our 4th object. So now we have tables, queries, forms, and reports. Okay, with this one open, and this is, we're going to do a few things with this, some editing. You want to scroll to the right, so membership type field is visible. Click it, and we're going to delete it. So you have this, and then you want to go through, and you have the option that says delete column, and then you have select entire column. Alright, so if you just do delete column, it's going to delete the whole thing. The book's going to say select column, but you can delete column, and it'll do it without having to go through that extra step. Alright, the next thing, the notes field, we want to also delete notes. So just click on the title, right click, delete column, and it gets rid of the notes. Alright, now you want to go to page setup, and then we're going to change it to landscape, because this is your page margin right here if you were to print. So we're going to go landscape, make it a little wider here. Alright, changing the column widths. You want to go to design, right click your tab up top. You notice you have report view, which is how it would look printed, layout view, which is good for editing, design view when you really need to go through, do some extra stuff, and then you have print preview, what it looked like if it was actually printed. And then if you hit 2 pages up top, you can see how it spreads across 2 pages. Alright, so what we need to do, we want to go be in layout view. You want to drag the ID column left as far as you can. Alright, one thing you'll notice, if you double click, try to auto fit, it doesn't work. That's kind of one of the things that they haven't changed. And you'll go through and notice that there's nowhere that has best fit. So you've got to do it manually. So we're going to drag that across. You find the longest name in the list. So I guess Maybellina or LaShonda. Alright, so we're going to drag those across, and then you just have to do this manually. And it's really not too bad, but after being able to auto fit and doing everything else pretty quick, this kind of slows you down. And I really wish that they would have an auto fit option here on the report views. Alright, okay, let's see, point of the first column, drag until feet, and then nothing's truncated. Alright, okay, the book's going to say truncated. What truncated is when words are cut off or forced down to the second line. So we want everything on one line. We don't want anything that looks like this. We want everything to be nice and the same all the way through. Alright, now previewing printing report, we've already gone over that. So you can go to page setup, print options. You can change your margins to actual numbers here if you want something different, not actual. More precise numbers here if you need something different than the presets that you can get over here. Because you notice down here at the bottom doesn't say custom margins. You have to go page setup to get to your custom margins here. And then you could change it back to portrait if you wanted to there and everything like that. So that's how all of that works there. And that is the end of lesson 7.